Binance P2P comes into the picture. So we provide a platform where the sellers and buyers come. It works like how Amazon and other e-commerce marketplaces work, right? There will be advertisers, there will be buyers, they'll come, they'll make the payment and they'll receive the product. Binance peer-to-peer, how it works is, so we have a buyer, again we have a seller. The buyer, so here Binance peer-to-peer operates in two ways. One, you can act as a taker. Taker means there will be a list of advertisements. When you go to p2p.binance.com, select your preferred crypto, say AED, SAR, we support 200 plus payment methods, we support 75 fiat currencies. Go to p2p.binance.com, you will find list of advertisements over there. There will be some from the verified merchants, there will be some from the regular users. When you go to the page, you will see, you can set your preferred fiat, you will see the advertisements. You can select the price that you want to trade with. There will be advertisements with various price options, various limits, various payment methods. So this is how it works. So there will be buyer, seller, and the platform. So how it works, for example, I want to sell 1000 USDT. I will go on Binance platform, I will place an advertisement. You will see my name, you will see my advertisement, price, etc. You come on the platform, you select me as your preferred seller. When you will place order with me, you will see, I'll see your, you will see my bank details. So you have to make my bank details, and once, as soon as you mark the order, place an order with me, my crypto will be logged by Binance. It is called escrow. So this is how the Binance peer-to-peer platform has built trust on the basis of the escrow services that we provide. So if the buyer has made the payment, they will be still fearing what if the seller runs away and with my money, what if the seller doesn't release the crypto to me. So to be rest assured, the crypto will be logged by Binance. If the buyer has really paid, if the buyer has provided a valid proof, Binance will release the crypto if the seller does not release crypto on time. So this is the USP of Binance. Third is the dispute arbitration. For example, there will be some buyers who will mark as paid. Maybe they are new users, they really don't know how to trade. They really don't know how to copy the seller's details and make the payment. They will just mark as paid and then they go away. So what? Now the seller's crypto are locked with Binance. The seller is unable to trade with any other users. So now what? Seller can raise an appeal where the customer support will come into picture, and if the buyer has really not paid within a given time limit, the CS will cancel the order and the seller will release, get the USDT in their fiat wallet back. So this is how the whole ecosystem works. So if there is a new user who don't really know how to trade, who don't really understand, we have a very intuitive UI UX. There will be walkthroughs throughout, and then you can easily place order, you can get your crypto in your preferred payment method, preferred fiat option. So what do we have for Middle East? So for Middle East, I'm working since last 1.5 years, where I have seen huge growth in some of the top Middle East states, where the countries are amongst the top 15 markets globally. So our vision for Binance peer-to-peer is to take the Middle East regions in the top 10 markets. We also provide Arabic support. So today, for example, if you feel uncomfortable to chat with the customer support, we have Arabic support where you can open the chat with Arabic and then you can get the resolution for whatever queries you have. We also have Arabic page, binance.com/AR, where you will see all the details in Arabic. We have video tutorials for peer-to-peer in Arabic, so it's hyper localized. There are various products in P2P. We have P2P, P2 Pro, so we are expanding, and we have products for high volume merchants as well as the institutions. These are the coins. So for example, if somebody asks for, I want to buy DAI, or I want to buy, say, Ethereum, where should I go and buy? Binance P2P offers 6 various coins where you can simply easily buy and sell it. You don't have to really first buy USDT and convert. These are the coins which you can go directly on peer-to-peer and buy from the advertisers. So in less than 1 year, as I said, we are ranking number 1. We launched in October 2019, and except 1 or 2 major countries, we are number 1 in almost all the countries. These are some of the peer-to-peer milestones. So when we launch with, say, around 5 top global currencies, GBP, EUR, USD, etc. Now we are supporting 70 plus fiat currencies. We have 300 plus payment methods. So when you will go, if you want to trade in Saudi Arabia, you want to trade in UAE, you can see the payment methods which are hyper-local over here. We have processed 82 billion in trade volumes. And we have a global network of 15,000 plus verified merchants. So what is the difference between a normal user and a verified merchant? Verified merchant on Binance P2P, you will see a yellow tick mark. It means that they are they have submitted the additional documents with us, and they are the trusted vendors. So when you go and place order with the verified merchants, you don't have to worry about anything. You will surely get your crypto, or you will be able to successfully sell your crypto. What are the potential use cases of Binance P2P? So first is the fiat gateway. As I said, the new users, they want to get into crypto, they want to cash in, cash out. So this is the easiest way to buy and sell. Second is the profit making. So when you compare the rates, you will find a lot of liquidity on Binance and the other exchanges where you can make money. Again, not a financial advice, across various different exchanges. Last is the remittance. For example, if I'm living in UAE and my family is somewhere else, say India, Singapore, UK, wherever. So this is the easiest way where I can simply send my money with 0 transaction fees. This is the roadmap, how we started in 2019 with only 5 major global currencies. Now we have 70 plus fiat currencies. You can trade from anywhere. It's permissionless, it's borderless. Trade with anyone of your choice, anywhere, anytime. What we are looking for in 2021 is to provide support in almost all the countries that we have, and we are expanding. We have touched all-time high in terms of volume and weekly active users in Middle East, especially in the first half of 2021. So now we have a special giveaway for you, all those who are here, those who have never traded on crypto. So you can scan the barcode or simply go to the App Store, download Binance app. What you have to do is first verify your account. Second, buy crypto worth $50 or more, and you will get 5 BUSD cash voucher in your account. So this is only for the first 200 users. One thing, when you download your app, it's important to verify your account, because on Binance P2P, you will not be able to trade until and unless you are KYC verified users. So once you have done your KYC, it means that it's an additional layer of security, so you can freely trade with anyone, any vendor of your choice. So that is all from my presentation. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shitrul Patel. Have you ever heard of the BSC? Oh, yes. We have tonight the BSC expert in town. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sami.
Hey everyone, really great to be here and see like so many friends and the community. Really appreciate you guys joining us here today. So I want to share some updates and information about where BSC is today, like how we got here, and what to look forward to. So we just passed, first, let's see some hands, how many people here use the DApp, like PancakeSwap on BSC or any of the others. Okay, cool, very cool. So we just passed our first year anniversary after launching BSC mainnet on the 1st of September last year. So from the Binance Chain team, our mission and focus is really about being infrastructure provider for crypto. So that's chain agnostic, language agnostic, client agnostic. We want to serve wherever the developer demand is. So we launched BSC as an EVM chain. It's actually our second chain. The first chain was Binance Chain, launched in 2019. Binance Chain, some of you might be familiar, is the single-purpose, high-performance chain which runs Binance DEX. But that's it, doesn't have the ability to run smart contracts. It's Tendermint-based chain, very different architecture to what you see in BSC today. So based on feedback that we received from the Binance Chain community, we launched Binance Smart Chain. It's an EVM compatible chain. So this means it's 100% EVM compatible. So projects that are running on Ethereum mainnet today can deploy on BSC very easily. So some highlights about what BSC achieved in the last 1 year. So we've had recently actually daily active addresses. Yesterday we had a new all-time high, which was 15 million. Total transaction volume, we're reaching, the daily all-time high was 13.1 million, which was about 100x of the transaction volume on the Ethereum mainnet on the same day. I think another important point to mention is like today there's over 16 million BNB staked to secure the network that provides the security. And there's also a very large participation of delegators. So that's people in the community that are staking their BNB to help secure the network in the validator nodes. So today that's over 51,000. We've also seen a very large amount of projects and developers interested in building and developing on BSC. There's over 900, it's rapidly approaching 1,000 projects today. They're already deployed and scaling very fast in terms of user growth and many other metrics. So I also want to share some stories about the different stages that we went through in the last 1 year journey with BSC. So last summer, before the mainnet launch, we launched the Staking Wars. It was really aimed at growing understanding and information and experience for validator operators and the community on understanding how the proof of stake mechanism in BSC works. And then after September 1st, we launched the mainnet, and we were really focused on supporting the core infrastructure. So that's like oracles, the RPC nodes, the chain explorers, and we also launched our first fund, which was the $100 million accelerator fund. So around that time, it was about 45,000 daily active users, 470,000 transactions. So we were seeing some initial stages of demand and traction. After that, we saw the first few projects deployed, PancakeSwap, which many of you know, BurgerSwap, and many others in the DeFi space. So there was a lot of AMM dexes, yield aggregators, a number of different projects in the DeFi space. At that time, we saw like a significant increase in the daily active users, went up to 360K. And then that was during the period of DeFi summer. So obviously there was a huge amount of interest from people in crypto to try and understand what DeFi was about. And I think BSC served as a very easy and welcoming entry point, because at the time, obviously, there was also like very high transaction fees with network congestion on the Ethereum mainnet happening all the time and quite unpredictable. So it was not like entirely inclusive and accessible. So I think BSC helped to contribute a lot of user growth in the DeFi space generically. So a lot of people had like kind of first-time access and learning experiences in DeFi on BSC. And then we saw like very rapid growth happening. So our focus at that time was kind of scaling the infrastructure. So EVM, as some of the developers here might know, is not like very well suited for very high TPS. And we were spending a lot of time and efforts in scaling that infrastructure. So at the time, we were getting to all-time highs on many different metrics. So we reached like daily active users, 1.2 million, transaction volume of 12 million, which was 7x the transaction volume happening on Ethereum mainnet at that time. Going forward, we've seen closer to now, like we're seeing very high growth happening in the gaming ecosystem. A lot of gaming projects deployed on BSC are having like very rapid growth. And we've just recently launched our new fund, which is $1 billion fund, which is aimed at accelerating growth and new users in crypto generally. Oops. Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on with that, but okay, cool. So here's, so we really see BSC as a kind of interoperability layer due to a number of different reasons. I think Binance Bridge allows us to bring any assets that are on Binance.com and and bridge them in a very secure way. So you have, for the first time, infrastructure and environment where developers in DeFi are able to test market demand for assets that aren't really found in the DeFi ecosystem in Ethereum mainnet, for example. But also allows us today with decentralized bridges to enable new and innovative cross-chain applications. So I think we're still in the quite early stages here, but it's going to be a very exciting time for DeFi developers to look at applications that could, for example, collateralize assets on one chain and mint stable coins or on other assets on another chain and do cross-chain liquidations efficiently, and a number of really interesting cross-chain applications as we move into this increasingly multi-chain future. So here's a couple of examples of, this is definitely not fully representative, just a few examples of projects in the DeFi space, a number of projects that are in oracles, infrastructure, payments, gaming, NFT, and a number of others. So you can see here the main purpose to show this is really is a large and growing ecosystem of projects and users in BSC. And we welcome any new developers to come and join us in many different channels and support venues that we have for the developer community. Another big area of focus for us, as well as from resource and investment perspective, is on the security front. So as BSC has, for example, today PancakeSwap has the largest number of users among any DeFi application, second largest among any other application. Axie Infinity is the first, PancakeSwap is the second. And with very large daily, with very large TVL, it becomes a very attractive target for the bad actors that exist. So security is a huge priority for us. It's number one. So we launched an initiative called Priority One. There's many things within that. So we're launching bug bounty programs where we're funding bug bounties for projects. But I think mainly it's really about driving a security-first mindset and culture within the BSC developer community. So we have a whole number of initiatives here. We highly value the security partners, and we welcome more security experts to join the BSC ecosystem. So in terms of what's coming next, we have a lot of things that we're working on. So you're going to hear about a lot of new initiatives. Expect to see many different new types of infrastructures, new chains. These could be non-EVM chains, private chains, where we're always experimenting and testing developer and market demand for new types of infrastructure. But at the same time, we're also looking at investing and supporting specialized developers and partners on strengthening the critical infrastructure, as well as expanding the DeFi ecosystem as we move into DeFi 2.0. So these could be projects around fixed rate lending, interest rate swaps, and many new and innovative ideas. We're also very, very keen to support projects that are looking at targeting bringing new users into crypto. Gaming is a really great example of this. So you have a lot of new gaming projects that are targeting non-crypto users. And that's everything that we want to do is about that, is to provide the underlying infrastructure to support that. So it's all about bringing new users into crypto. And the last thing I would say is we try very hard to be developer facing. We want to meet the needs and be the infrastructure of choice for developers to build their applications on. So thank you very much. Last thing I'll say is follow us on Twitter, Binance Chain, and go to binance.org to hear the latest about everything we're working on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sami. And for our last panel, we'll be talking about NFTs, finally. Yes. And it will be a woman, because tonight here we have the first NFT artist in Dubai. Please welcome Amrita.
Thank you, guys, and good evening. So I'll just get my slides up. Okay, perfect. So yes, as Hamid just said, I'm the first NFT artist in Dubai. But I didn't start off as an NFT artist. In fact, I didn't even start off as an artist. I spent the first 15 years of my life within the banking sector and in the insurance sector. So when I discovered, I was always in the corporate world as well. So I moved out of the corporate world into the entrepreneurial world, where I originally actually wanted to go into doing my own thing within the financial sector. But along the way, I found my voice and I connected to my creativity. And then I became an artist. And then during COVID, I became an NFT artist because we, like many of us, we went offline and we went online. So I created this concept or this art genre called voice note art. And instead of me explaining to you what it is, I'm going to let, do I think we're ready to play it? Oh. I think, Hamid, I'll let CNN actually did a piece on me recently. And this kind of goes a lot
Instead
through
of just watching, start
what it is.
investing and
Okay, sorry,
earning from
we're
Netflix.
getting there.
According to
NFTs are one of the buzziest topics of today.
Okay.
It was on the trend long before digital art has
It's
ever
coming,
was ever this fashionable.
trust me.
It's
If
going
not,
to
then
have
I'll
more
just
part of
explaining
our
it to
Think
you.
Big series.
Thank you. Sorry. I think Hamid, are we struggling with the sound? Okay, fine, perfect. Actually, I'll just let it play behind me. So my artwork is based all on sound. So what I first do is I record a word. So I think in this instance, I would have said Dubai. And I first record the shape and structure of a sound wave. And then each of the lines of the sound wave, I draw to match the meaning of the word. So you've all heard of the concept of a picture's worth a thousand words, right? So I could turn it on its head, there, that's it. And I say a word is worth 1,000 pictures. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. And so by doing so, I actually did a piece on 2020. And you can see the sound wave here, 2020. And that actually describes everything, what happens. It's like a modern day portrait, right? So I think one of the great things about what NFTs have done personally for me as an artist is it kind of has taken, because the concept of voice note art is so dynamic, and it just doesn't do itself justice when you just have a 2D image, because you've got to explain it, or you have to have a QR code to play back the sound that makes it. Whereas this way, what you can do is it leaps off of the page, it tells the story, it describes it without me having to do it. And what's happening here is that I created like this 3D animation piece called What the NFT, because everybody was asking me, what, like this incredibility of what is an NFT, right? And so, I did a piece which talks about it. But what I'm trying to do is explain to the mainstream why NFTs are important, but without going into the boring technology. I want people to experience it, so that, I think there's too much of a conversation around, the concept of blockchain, NFTs. I think people are getting so kind of caught up in this terminology, and I just want to take people into more of an experience. And I'm trying to show people that through NFTs or through this, it's unlocking a whole load of creativity that we haven't been able to have before. So whether it's through like virtual reality or augmented reality, you're able to get into another dimension. And I talk about this kind of hybrid reality, right? So where we're going to be doing it is like, how we're going to experience art isn't only going to be in a physical realm, it's also going to be in a digital realm, but also in a way that we can bridge it between the physical and the digital. Sorry, it's much better with sound.
Software usually feels something like this. Where do you even start? Well,
You've probably got some to-dos written
I
down
hope
somewhere, right?
you managed to get a bit of
Let's drop
that.
those
So
in.
yeah, so I mean, if not, please
There we
take a
go.
picture,
Let's
go
give
to the
these some due
YouTube
dates and order they need
video
to be
later
completed.
on, and you can watch it with the
Sure would be
sound.
helpful to have these all mapped out on a calendar.
So, I mean, I
Let's
could
add one.
show you a lot more of my work, but what I just wanted to actually
now let's
show
think
you,
about
which
that
is kind of very
presentation you've got next
hot
week.
off the press,
Maybe
so
you
to
need a spot
speak,
to get your thoughts
is
jotted
a
down?
project that
Let's add a doc.
that I've been working on
Embedded video that
for the
speaks
last
that really
month.
fires you up.
I've literally had
let's
hardly
get a
any
table in here to
sleep.
organize your key
In
talking
fact,
points.
is a very nice story which
Maybe
links back
bring
to
in the slides from your
Binance.
last presentation?
Is the
Really
last
get the
time I
juices
saw
flowing?
Omar, which was about a month
Beautiful.
ago. I'd been invited to the
Now let's bring your
DIFC
sales and customer data in here
to
too.
have a
table
CEO,
view would be
you know,
perfect for
breakfast
organizing.
with the likes of, you know,
Now we're
Omar and
talking.
some other sort of key
Build your
influences
workspace
in the
and put your
business.
productivity in hyperdrive
And
with the
I've
one app to
been
replace them all.
wanting to do a mural, and I was, you know, NFT Basel were coming into town, and we were trying to create a mural. I get to DIFC, and I see this beautiful wall, like massive. It's 45 meters long, 20 meters high. And I go in, and I'm like super jazzed. I'm like, oh my God, who do I need to talk to get that wall to paint a mural on? And it just so happened that, you know, the CEO of DIFC was there at the time, Arif Amiri, and within record-breaking time, we got all the approvals, and you know, in a week, me and my team painted this massive mural. You're not going to be able to get an idea of the sense of size here. You'll be a little bit of it, but it's like 20 meters long, and almost like, you know, 18 meters high. So just the size of it is humongous. And so we were there like till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning painting. You know, got man lifts going up these scissor lifts. But it's been worth it. And then a couple of days before, I wanted to actually create this augmented reality. And it's actually now turned out to be the first augmented reality NFT mural. I think definitely in Dubai, I think definitely in the world, unless somebody proves me wrong. So I'm just going to show you a brief clip of it. I hope this is going to play.
And I'm
Is
sure
this
it's
gonna
got
play?
you wondering, what is an NFT? And what
So
is
this is the
mania all
DIFC.
about?
Look at the size of the wall, and then boom,
Hi,
the augmented
I'm
reality
Anita,
comes out.
And I'm a multimedia artist, and I believe the first NFT artist in the
And look, you can
UAE.
see
And
the
I'm
like the
gonna
bird
tell you
flying
why you should know about
over
NFT
there.
art,
Just the
care
scale of
about
it. I
NFT
really
art,
recommend
and
you
how
go
to
and
be
do
a
it.
part of
To
it.
go down to the
NFT
it's the
stands for
DIFC
a
Innovation Hub.
non-fungible
It's the
token.
parking
It's a
lot,
digital asset
and
that
you know,
exists
go
on
and
the
actually,
blockchain. But
you know,
unlike
go and
most digital
experience it
art,
because
which
of the
can be
scale. You're
endlessly
literally
reproduced,
inside
each
the
NFT
AR. You're
is
literally, and
coded
this
to
is
have a
where it
unique
is
digital
so cool,
signature
because in 1
and
minute we're in a
characteristic.
2D or we're
This
in the
gives
physical
NFTs
world.
the
The next thing you know, you're in this
originality and
virtual
scarcity
world,
that makes
but
them
you're
so
still in the physical
attractive
world.
and
So it's this
valuable,
really nice
just like
hybrid
a
and
physical
interplay.
artwork.
Okay, so
Since 2020, my signature
I'd like
full-scale
everyone
art
to get
collection
involved. So
is
yes, we're not in the
available
wall,
digital
but you can
format
still
via
experience it in
Terra
augmented
Virtua,
reality.
one of the world's first
So,
immersive
if everyone
digital
can get their
platforms
smartphones
for
out,
art
please.
collectibles.
And
Each
can you
voice of
scan the
art 2D
QR code over
animation
there?
comes with audio. The first NFT
What we'll
to
do,
have this
what it will do,
attribute,
it will
allowing
open up
people to
into
see and
Instagram.
experience sound
So if you don't
through
have
art.
Instagram, I can't help you. But you kind of, then what will happen is the filter will come up.
Each artwork
There's going to
is
be
minted
a button
and
which you can
generates a code
unmute
to
at the
represent
top,
the NFT.
point it at
This
that,
code becomes part
and
of the
hopefully
Ethereum
you're going to now
blockchain.
see. Who can see the
And when
augmented
it is
reality? Just
created,
put it up,
is
put your hands up
timestamped,
already. Who's
unchangeable,
activated
and
it?
tamper-proof. So
And then
what
you
do
can press the
essentially
button
get
in the
when you
middle,
buy an
and now
NFT?
you're recording a story.
Isn't it just a
And you can
JPEG?
upload that
The answer's
directly onto
simple.
your Instagram.
Essentially, you're transferring that
And, you know,
unique
just
code
move it
from one
around,
person to the
experiment with
next
it.
and locking it into
Has
the
everybody
blockchain.
got it? Everyone's
What
got
you're
it?
not doing is buying the property rights to that picture. The same applies for when you buy physical artwork from an art gallery.
So definitely
You
record a
acquire the
video.
physical painting,
So
which you
this,
display in your home.
so basically the
But
name of
you
my
do not have the
artwork
underlying rights
is
to reproduce
Future
and
NFT
distribute copies
Dubai.
of that
So
painting.
this, the sound wave is
Similarly,
Future
in the digital
NFT
verse, there can be
Dubai.
many copies of an
And
artwork, but the ownership
you know
lies
what's
with
pretty
the
cool
person
is
who
we've got
owns
Bitcoin
that
signs
token.
and Ethereum
So
signs
wait,
on the wall of the
What?
DIFC.
I don't actually get a
I don't
physical
know how I
copy of the
managed to get
artwork.
that, but I got the approvals and it
No,
was good to go.
Not in the traditional sense.
And
You're not going to be
yeah.
able to touch and feel it, but you are going to be able to experience it in a whole new way. Once
Should
you
we move on,
purchase your
guys?
digital art
Is everyone
piece,
okay? You want to stay?
you can store, display,
Sorry, I
interact,
know.
and
I've
show
got to
off
wrap
your
it up,
collection
guys.
in your personalized 3D
Okay.
fan cave
Okay, guys,
or
thanks.
3D art gallery
So-
using VR and AR for a deeper
Just a
sensory
very quick one.
experience.
When you see me later walking
So,
around,
another more
come and
practical
scan
way
me,
is just
and
linking
you're
it
going to
up
be
your
able to
screen at
play
home
my
and
jacket
enjoy
as
your
well.
art
So this
like
is
you would
also
do
the
any other physical
introduction
artwork.
of virtual
And
reality
you come
in
over,
fashion.
just show them your
So come and scan me later and play me, and
You
we've
can
got
have
like
the
it'll
best
come
of
out
both
here as well.
Right.
So
Thank you, Amrita.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
So I'm
Amrita.
excited to answer. Potentially, there's a thing coming soon with Binance.
Thank you
And
very much. Thank you very much, Amrita. Very nice. So, like I was saying earlier, this is a very special meetup. Like I was saying, it's the first one in Dubai, in the Emirates. And you know, we thought this meetup wouldn't be a Binance meetup without someone that you may have seen in town this week. Someone that you may have seen on Twitter maybe this week, tweeting about, with some Arabic words, let's say. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Binance founder and CEO, CZ. How are you?
Pretty good, how are you?
So thank you very much for being here with us. You can sit.
so come and scan me later and play me.
Thank you very much for being here with us tonight. Yes, can we have another mic, please? Reda?
Thank you so much. So I'm excited to answer. Potentially, there's a thing coming soon with Binance. And,
Thank you very much, Amrita. Very nice.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
yes,
hello, guys.
welcome to Dubai CZ. We are very happy that you are here with us tonight. We know that you are a very busy man, and the fact that you are here in front of our MENA community is very symbolic for all of us, I think. So thank you very much. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. I'm being extremely impressed with everything going on here. So I think, well, you guys gonna see me more of me here.
Amazing. So maybe I can give you a couple of minutes if you want to say some words to our MENA community here today.
To be honest, not that much. I didn't really prepare a speech or anything like that. Probably easier to go through the questions first
Okay,
before I
let's do it.
launch into a monologue.
So basically, I will just ask you just a couple of questions for introduction, and then we'll give the mic to the audience so you can all, I mean, not everyone, but some of you guys, ask questions to CZ. So the first question I wanted to ask you, you know, it's been like almost 2 years that we couldn't really travel because of COVID and organize meetups all over the globe and here in the MENA region. How does it feel for you today to be here in this Binance meetup today?
Yeah, so this feels fantastic. So I came from Singapore, which currently has a 2 people gathering lockdown. Well, not lockdown, they call allowance. So it's fairly restrictive. And I've been there for the last 2 years, haven't really traveled at all. And before that, I was traveling like crazy, and I thought, you know, I would really enjoy staying in one place for a long time. But I think after 2 years, I think it's reversed. So being the first time to travel, and also Dubai is a very international city. So being here, meeting all of you guys, and met a lot of different friends over the last 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. So yes, this is a very refreshing experience. And crypto is supposed to connect people all around the world. So the decentralization is great, Zoom is great, but it doesn't beat meeting in person. Especially many people I've not seen for, all of the people I have not seen for 2 years. And yeah, it's just fantastic to be here and to, you know, exchange ideas. It's less about talking about what you say about things, it's just being able to hang out.
Amazing. So speaking of crypto, obviously it's being more and more adopted here in Dubai, in the Emirates, in the MENA region, but still there is still a lot to do. What's your vision about the future of cryptocurrency in the MENA region?
I think the MENA region is a very unique and very susceptible region for becoming the leader of cryptocurrencies and blockchain development. I think if you look at Dubai, it's one of the most, probably the most international city that I know of now. And I've been to quite a few places. The government here are very pro-business. They're extremely good at the organizational leadership. They're very service-oriented. And which other regions do you see multiple regulators, multiple regulatory frameworks, multiple free zones? So there are many different experiments I call it experiments, but there are multiple structures that you can choose from or work with. So this is something that you don't see in other parts of the world. So I think given the amount of flexibility and the number of initiatives going on, crypto, it fits the crypto, even though it's not completely decentralized, it fits the decentralized philosophy. And also this region has the strong financial I would say foundations for the next phase of crypto evolution. I think this place is going to be huge in the future of finance.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
So let's talk about NFTs. Obviously, we saw an amazing presentation just before you came. NFTs are really popular in the MENA region. We've had the chance actually to have an NFT campaign, for example, with El Jaboom. El Jaboom, if you're here, hello to you. So what's your vision about NFTs? Like, we know people now, they kind of know what it is, but what makes it really valuable and specific according to you?
So for me, to be very frank, this may offend some people. I'm not a big expert on NFTs. I'm also not a big trader. So I'm not a collector. I don't collect NFTs myself. Actually, I sometimes get bewildered when people pay that kind of price for NFTs. But fundamentally, though, I believe NFT markets, the mechanism is hugely valuable. It's a new way, it's an additional way for content creators, artists, singers, football players to monetize their work. So this additional way is extremely valuable. We never had this mechanism before where you can monetize your work globally. Before you have an art gallery here, then people have to visit your art gallery to buy your art. And there wasn't a way for people to monetize the digital artwork. Or doesn't have to be artwork, it can be any work. But now you can monetize that work globally using the blockchain technology, which did not exist before. So personally, I believe many of the NFTs today probably will crash in price eventually, but a small number of them probably will go exponentially in price. This is like the same. This is the same thing as anything that's new, right? ICOs. There's a lot of new projects. New startups fail. Most of new startups fail, but there's a handful few that will do extraordinarily well. So Binance went through an ICO, and I think we did okay so far. So so I think this is the same as any new technology. So I view NFTs as a new technology that's very empowering. You will have a huge market. You will leave a huge footprint on the human civilization, to be honest. But I don't collect NFTs, so I don't know any NFTs. I'm not a trader either, so I don't trade. I don't know. I actually am not an expert in which NFTs are valuable or not, etc. But I just know that we want to be the platform provider of NFTs. Yeah.
If you haven't checked our NFT marketplace, please go ahead. It's amazing. One question about DeFi, decentralized finance. It's also really popular here in Dubai, in the MENA region. We love staking, something we love. What's your vision about DeFi? To what extent do you think that one day it's going to become an alternative to CeFi, centralized finance?
Yeah, so I think I'm a huge believer in DeFi. I think right now it's an alternative to CeFi. I think eventually you will overtake CeFi. I think I don't know when, how long. It might be 2 years, it might be 10 years, it might be 20 years. But I actually think within 20 years, it's definitely going to replace CeFi. So so many people think of Binance as a centralized exchange. we're not. We're not really married to that centralized exchange thing. We can let it go. As I tweeted earlier today, I always believe there are more opportunities in the future than there were in the past. If DeFi, I do think DeFi eventually will replace CeFi. I don't know how long, but when that happens, we have more opportunities in the DeFi space. And today, we also contribute very heavily on the DeFi development. We have Binance Smart Chain, which is one of the more active blockchains in the space. We invest and sponsor a number of projects on there, and we help promote them as well. So we also give them liquidity by listing them on Binance, the centralized exchange. So I think the future does belong to the decentralized world. But at the same time, though, today, it's still just a supplement to CeFi. Today, the CeFi still have larger liquidity. And today, the crypto adoption, I would probably say, is still less than 2% globally. So today, and of that 2% people who have crypto, only a small portion of their net worth is in crypto. So today, 99.99% of the value is still in fiat. And we have to have ways to bring that into crypto, into the crypto space. To do that, we have to integrate with the traditional financial rails, banks, traditional payment service providers, etc. In order to do that, we have to get licenses. We have to be a centralized. We actually have to change Binance.com, the centralized exchange, into a centralized entity to be able to get licenses, etc. So working on the centralization of that does not mean that we do not believe in decentralization. It just means that we want to progress on both fronts. We need to integrate with the existing economy to bring to have a bridge. To let money flow in and out, and at the same time, though, the future is decentralized. So I think
Amazing. My last question to you before we give the mic to the audience is about the growth fund that we just announced. It's very ambitious. We talked about it earlier. $1 billion USD for the BSC ecosystem, but more globally speaking, for blockchain technology. Can you maybe tell us more about what's your ambition behind this?
Yeah, so we always want to invest in the industry, and this is not something we just say. We actually do it. So many people just say it, but they don't do it. I'll give you some very concrete examples. We started Binance Labs 3 years ago, and when we started that, I honestly thought it was going to lose money. I think in fiat terms, it will probably make money because we invest in BNB. So we actually have to give BNB out. I thought, come on, look, if you take 100 projects in the crypto space, take their average, BNB, Binance has one of the hardest working teams and ecosystems. There's, I thought, in BNB terms, the returns has to be negative. But why did we invest? We want to build the ecosystem. So over the last 3 years, we invested, Binance Labs invested in about 80, 90 projects. But actually, the returns on Binance Labs outperform BNB. Just by a tiny margin. BNB performed about, over the last 4 years, BNB performed about, what's the price now? 500? So about 5,000x. 500x or so. The first year it did about 50x, and then over the last 3 years it did about 10, 20x. The fund did about 30, 40x, depending on how you calculate it. Today it's probably more than 40, like 50, 60x. What's interesting though is, BNB market cap today is a $80 billion market cap, whereas the fund right now itself, we invested about $140 million. It did about 50 something x, so today it's close to $7 billion in terms of market value. So that turned out to be a surprise. I actually didn't expect that. But we have consistently invested in some of the best projects in the space, and we'll continue to do that. So we thought, well, let's do more of that because that seems to work quite well. Not from a monetary perspective, it just helps to grow the ecosystem. So I think for Binance Smart Chain, we want to grow this with real, it sounds like a big number, but BNB is like somewhere around 80 billion market cap. So it's like a little bit over 1%. With the team, the Binance team has 40% of the tokens in reserve. Burn about 10% of those. So we still have like 30-something% tokens in reserve. So we only need to take a small portion of that, allocate it, basically reinvest it into give it to the economy for for development, and we just gotta earn that back, earn much more of that back, and then continue to burn that. So for us, it's actually for me, I think it's a small investment that will help the ecosystem grow significantly, and this is a worthwhile thing to do. So, and by the way, we're not investing from the team allocation. We're investing from the BNBs that we earn as an exchange, as a centralized exchange, as our business. We're investing that profit back into the ecosystem. So yeah, this is very important to do for the ecosystem to grow. It sounds like a big number, but you guys should see the next burn. So.
Thank you very much. I will give the mic to my colleague Reda. If you have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll do our best to give it to you.
Somewhere around 80 billion market cap. So it's like a little bit over 1%. With the team, the Binance team has 40% of the tokens in reserve. If we get to the front row, people think we steal the question.
This is Dr. Rami from Kuwait. Thank you very much for the honesty on NFTs and for Binance to be here today. Actually, we have created a platform to rate a cryptocurrency rating platform called EVI, which is AI-based rating platform. We have tried to list our coin, which is EVI coin, and we found a very challenging requirement, which is you need to have a volume. To be honest, we are coming to you to create the volume, and you're asking us to create the volume. So I don't see this as a valid requirement to us, since it is very solid, proven platform. I would like to know why this is restricted if you are not convinced of the platform. Thank you very much.
Sure, it's a good question. So it is a bit of a chicken and egg problem. Binance, so one of the key listing criteria we evaluate is number of users. It's actually not volume, it's number of users. But it's a very simple concept. But how to measure number of users is very tricky. If we list a single metric, people will game it. If we say, look, active addresses on the blockchain, it has to be 20K, people will get that right away with an airdrop. So we look at a number of different matrices, and one of them is trading volume on other exchanges, on DeFi, etc. For brand new projects, it's actually very dangerous for us to list it, because as much as we can look at the project, evaluate, we don't know. There's so many projects in the world. We do not know everybody in the world personally. We do not know their track history. We do not know how credible they are. We just have no way to know that in a lot of confidence. The best way for us to know is when a lot of users are already using that coin, and that's already listed on many other exchanges, it has volume, it's easy for us. So for a brand new project, it's hard for us. For you, it's very hard to get, it's more harder for you to get volume. It's much easier for you to get volume once it gets listed on Binance, but that's great. But there's many other exchanges you could work with. So I actually encourage people to list on other smaller exchanges, get listed on DeFi first. Don't make Binance your first listing choice. Binance doesn't compete to be the first one in most cases. In some cases, when the project is really famous, really hot, exchanges do compete to list first. Because when you list first, you grab the users. For most projects, though, most projects should not be in that category. Most projects, you need to build up your reputation, your users over time. So work with as many exchanges as you can. Don't say, look, if you cannot get volume without being listed on Binance, then we will never list that coin. If you have to be able to get volume on other exchanges, on DeFi, or through your own communities before you get to Binance. If you say, look, yes, when we list you, you will have users, but we can't be that first exchange. We actually don't want to be that first exchange. So it's a bit of a chicken egg problem. So it's a little bit harder to solve. But that's what all startups are, right? So you got to crack it somewhere. I typically would recommend, do use DeFi, do use smaller exchanges, and yeah. But there's many other exchanges you could work with. So I actually encourage people to list on other smaller exchanges, get listed on DeFi first. Don't make Binance your first listing choice. Binance doesn't compete to be the first one in most cases. In some cases, when the project is really famous, really hot, do we differentiate between the coin and something? Because when you list
Sorry, can I just jump in here? I think the question's been answered pretty comprehensively by CZ. I think you can all agree CZ has been very open about the listing process, and it's all sort of publicly available information. I would kindly request that we don't use this opportunity to shill our own projects. There's plenty of socializing time after the event. You know, we're very happy and we're very lucky to have CZ here. So honestly, I wouldn't really waste this opportunity, and maybe let's ask some questions that would, you know, from the unique insight that CZ can give us on the industry. So if you could keep your questions interesting to the general audience, that would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Hello, CZ. I have a question. Since now you came to MENA region, is Binance Academy will play a real role in educating people in the MENA region?
Yes, absolutely. So Binance Academy is an educational platform that we ran, we developed, and it was actually quite a lot of contributions from the community. We did translate that, so now it's in full Arabic. So all the articles are available in Arabic. All the videos have Arabic subtitles, I believe. And we're actually working with a couple educational platforms here locally to have what we call master classes. Helen, who's also here, her team ran master classes in Africa. Last year, we did 250 master classes. Each class is similar to this, based on the pictures I saw. A couple hundred people. In COVID, we moved it online. Each day, we actually get 1,000 to 2,000 participants in the master classes. So I do believe education is the key. Education is the fundamental pillar of everything. So we want to do a lot more of that. We actually have looked at a couple educational training centers here physically. We want to look at how to integrate that, provide our master class or Binance Academy materials through that. So that's something that we definitely want to do. And we also want to look for people who can become instructors or trainers or presenters. Yourself, for example, yeah. So please do come forward, and we need a lot more help from the community to drive this forward. Yeah, education is extremely important. Yeah. I think for the next question, we'll move the mic over there. So I think we're just not just always in the middle. But go ahead.
Good evening. First of all, I would like to thank Binance and the team for having us here. I have a quick question. I've been involved for quite some time in DeFi and very recently in GameFi. So I was wondering, in the $1 billion project, in the $1 billion investment into BSC, is there going to be some funds allocated to DeFi and play-to-earn games and other ecosystem of that kind?
Actually, I think we have an allocation table for that $1 billion fund. I actually don't know what it is. I actually don't remember. And I'm not involved at that level. I say okay, and then they move $1 billion away, and they go on and just do something good with it. That's how hands-on I am in Binance. So I actually don't know what the number is, but I'm sure we'll invest in a variety of projects. That's definitely going to be DeFi. There's definitely going to be NFT platforms. There's GameFi. There's fan tokens. There's many other type of new projects that we will invest in. We don't choose particular categories, really. We believe that we just invest in the best projects across any category. We just want to invest in things that have a relationship to crypto. So anything in crypto, we will invest.
Hi there. Good evening. I'm Joseph Diamond at the Gig Economy platform. I was just going to ask a question in relation to the Binance Smart Chain project. Visa does 100 billion transactions annually. And I was thinking, what is the possible scalability to match CeFi in terms of transactions? Would it then be immediate settlements of transactions onto balance, or immediate settlement transactions onto available to spend? I just wanted your opinion in terms of transaction scalabilities. But bearing in mind, Visa does about 100 billion annually.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that's different there's different type of transactions. There's payment transactions, which Visa does. So 100 billion is a very impressive number. But to be honest, and that's trading exchanges. Exchanges trading volume deals with much higher volumes. So we do like 100 billion in US dollar terms, but I don't know how many messages that, how many actual transactions that is. From a technology point of view, the centralized exchanges can handle very, very large volumes. That's not an issue. The decentralized, the blockchains are still not super fast these days. I think there's still a lot of room to grow. And in terms of but the technology, I don't think the current limitations is the performance bottleneck for crypto adoption. I think it's really the use cases we need to develop. So the technology is there. We just got to develop more use cases. I truly believe the pure technology-driven solution is going to handle much higher capacities than when we have a lot of traditional legacy human manual procedures involved, which is so in crypto, everything settles T plus 0. So if you deposit your money, you trade, you buy Bitcoin, you can withdraw right away. You don't have to wait for T plus 1 settlement, which is, and on the payment side, traditional merchants are typically using T plus, on the traditional stock exchanges, their settlement is probably about T plus 3 fastest. And then on the, hold on, I'm trying to get my Binance card out. It's kind of stuck. Yeah, hold on. Let me try to get this thing out. All right, no, that's the wrong card. I think there's still a lot of room. It's like a magic pocket. Right, so the traditional stock market settle T plus 3. The Visa market settle T plus 90, T plus 180. When you swipe the Binance Visa card, which is also collaboration with Visa, it settles T plus 0. So you swipe it, crypto gets deducted from your Binance account, merchants paid, done. So I think the newer technologies will allow much faster settlement, much faster transactions. Yeah, so the speed is not an issue. If you deposit your money, and on the payment side, traditional merchants.
Hi.
Even if I knew, I probably would not, cannot disclose it, but honestly, I actually don't know. But I know we're working on it. We'll come around now. Go ahead.
Hi, Zizi. I'm Yovana. I was really excited to hear Sammy saying earlier that one of the core focuses was on mass adoption. I think one of the key differentiators for me is that what got us here today is not what's going to propel us forward. So the mindset of the early adopters and the innovators is extremely different to early majority. What is it that you think we can learn cross-category from real mass adoption platforms like Instagram, like Facebook, like TikTok, like Netflix, that we can bring into the crypto space to really drive that next era of growth?
To be honest, there's many things we can learn. Those platforms have done a much better job on gamification, making the user experience simple. But I think all of those things we're working on, but the most important thing we're working on right now is I actually think regulation is going to help us to bridge that gap. Most people have a so this is a topic I do want to talk a little bit about. Most people believe that many of the so today, as I said, I believe we have less than 2% adoption globally from a number of people perspective on crypto. That 2% are the early adopters. They have no problem. You guys are part of that 2%. So you guys have no problem putting money onto a website that operates offshore, no licenses, etc. As long as there's a community trust that you can feel from, like, Telegram groups or social media, etc. But for the majority of the population, they would probably trust a platform that's licensed by some government more. So having the regulatory compliance, having the licensing, having regulatory frameworks, and having the proper licenses actually will allow us to reach the other 90% of the market that are sort of average users, mom and pop shops, and that will have more trust in a licensed exchange. So I think regulation is a big key that we got to overcome, we got to adopt and embrace. There are many other advantages for regulation. Many people have a misconception thinking that we're somehow against regulation. I don't know how that got into people's minds. Regulation will help us a lot. We have quite a few advantages here. In a regulated market, only a few large established players remain. And today, by most matrices, we're overwhelmingly large in this space. And there are many smaller exchanges doing what we call questionable things. They list random coins that are extremely new, not proven, etc. They do get involved in behavior that are not professional. We don't want to see that in the industry. We actually want to weed that out. So we want to share our best practices and how we do things, and then hopefully make the industry healthier. On this last point, so in a regulated market, a lot of the smaller players will be cut off actually, and it actually benefit us. So we, from a very selfish perspective, we actually want regulation. Leading on to what I said earlier, we also have the best chance to communicate with all the regulators around the world. We're by far the largest player in this space. When regulators want to regulate crypto, they look at us. It causes quite a lot of negative PR, but at the same time, they all want to talk to us. Well, most of them want to talk to us, especially when we say, well, we want to work with you guys. So we are very open to share our best practices with the regulators, including very basic things on how we do security, how we do wallet management, how we do listings, how do we do customer support. There's many different levels of customer support, right? What happens in this case? What happens if somebody lost their coins? What happens if somebody sent the coins to the wrong address? What happens when a hacker deposits the coins on our platform? What happens if somebody pass away? How do we pass the money to their kids? So we have framework in all of those situations where many of the regulators are not even thinking about this kind of issues. Today, most of the regulators are just thinking about KYC, AML, which we do. So we have the unique chance of helping to lead the regulations in this space. And we want to use that opportunity. We want to use this opportunity to do that. So we welcome regulation. So I actually think to get to mass adoption, we need to get this regulatory hurdle, or get this regulatory framework in place, and work with regulators all around the world. So there's many different things we can do, but this is something that I'm spending a lot of time on. Yeah. Sorry, it's a long-winded answer.
Thanks, CZ. We'll take one more question.
Sorry, I'm the lucky one. CZ, thanks very much for joining us here and your valuable time. I know that you're the busiest man in the world. I hope you are, because we are on the scene, you know. Pekka, originally from Finland, 15 years in Dubai. 5.5 years full-time on blockchain cryptos. One very important thing that I got from your BSC presentation was that you are now breaching CeFi and DeFi. We know that CeFi is not exactly the traditional finance, it's still dealing with cryptos. So how do you do this breach in CeFi and DeFi?
I think, so actually, for me, from my perspective, we just promote everything. We just promote every innovation that we can. So today, I like to describe Binance as a platform of platforms. So on Binance, there's the centralized exchange, there's decentralized exchange, there's DeFi or the spot futures, there's now DeFi futures, there's MMs, swaps, etc. So I don't design how the industry works. The industry will evolve. All we got to do is we got to provide the platform for people to build their projects. So the community builds the ecosystem. The community will design the entire architecture of the ecosystem that will evolve naturally. So we support centralized exchanges. We run one of the largest centralized exchanges. We want to work with banks. We want to integrate with them. We want to get licenses. We want to have the traditional fiat rails. At the same time, we're pushing DeFi. We invested in multiple DeFi projects. We sponsor a lot of development on Binance Smart Chain. We want to push that forward. We invest in other projects, and we invest in multiple projects in each area. And they're going to shape the industry. So as long as we keep promoting all the areas equally, well, not always equally, but we just promote them very openly. And we invest in every sector of the industry, and those will evolve naturally. So I'm not smart enough to design, okay, this is how CeFi works and this is how they integrate with DeFi. I'm nowhere near that smart. People look at me, they should be able to tell. But it should grow organically. We're here to provide liquidity, provide user base, provide even funding to help this industry grow, to help our ecosystem grow. And the teams themselves will eventually find ways to integrate with each other or not. So yeah, the industry will evolve itself. I don't design.
All right. CZ, thank you very much for your time. We know that you have more questions. We know. Truly sorry, CZ's time is very valuable. Please, some applause for CZ.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about NFT and football. Who likes football here? Oh, not everyone. Okay. All right. Please welcome Alex Dreyfus, who will be talking about Chiliz.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Do you have a beep? Yes. Let's see what we have. Salam alaikum, everybody. Happy to be here tonight. Last time I was actually in a Binance Meetup was almost 2 years ago in Singapore. Was the last time, I guess, there was an event. Then COVID happened. Interestingly, COVID was an opportunity for the sports industry and for us as Chiliz, and I'm going to explain why. Let's talk a little bit about Chiliz and who we are and what we do. Chiliz is the token, Chiliz is the blockchain, and our business is to tokenize sports teams all over the world. And we created, whatever that means, but we invented 3.5 years ago, we created the fan tokens. Now today, we are working with more than 100 sports teams in the world, where here you can see some of them. Some of the biggest, of course, are Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, Barcelona, Arsenal, Man City, Inter Milan, etc. We announced last night the Lakers, one of the 24 NBA teams that we've signed. And right now we have, as I said, 100 plus, more or less, sports teams that are working with us, either on the fan token part, either on the fan engagement part. And our goal is to be 150 in the next couple of months. What do? We actually don't come from the blockchain space. We are not here to revolutionize the financial industry. That's not our job. That's Binance's job. Our job is to help the sports industry going from a passive fan to an active fan. We believe that the future of the sports industry is going to engage fans globally and give them more power and having a vested interest in the team they are supporting. And that's why we created these fan tokens, and that's why we developed two brands. We have two brands, Chiliz, which is the blockchain and the token, and socios.com, which is the consumer-facing product, where we have right now more or less 1.3 million users. As I said, we have 100 teams, 100 sports property, UFC, Formula One teams, blah, blah, blah. But the goal is to go much further than this. And there is a massive network effect in what we are doing. Just to explain a little bit who we are as a company, we are 175 people dedicated to that.
Alex, just 1 second, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please. If you want to talk, please just be on the side or stay quiet, just for respect for Alex who is speaking. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks. So we work all over the world, more or less, with users that actually grew a lot in GCC here. It's very interesting. We have a lot of friends that are in the room today. Thank you very much for your support, by the way. And we are still investing. We are investing to grow that ecosystem. We are investing to grow how blockchain can help the sports industry to be closer to their fan and to solve some of their problems. We always joke, all of us, that blockchain doesn't solve anything. Actually, it does. And it does not only in the financial space, but also in the sports space. We have, as I said, 1.3 million users. The goal is to be 3 to 5 million in the next 12 months, continuing to invest. We are launching a TV campaign with all of the teams in the next few weeks in different countries, etc., etc. This doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure, and I hope at least, that you've seen when Messi, Lionel Messi, or Leo Messi rather, got paid partially with a Paris Saint-Germain fan token this summer. That was actually thanks to the work we've done behind the scene. And this kind of initiative was actually helping promoting blockchain and crypto as a mainstream brand. And for once, it was not about Bitcoin. It was not about finance. It was really about something else. And we are very proud at Chiliz and Socios that we were helping to achieve this. And Messi was one of the first things we've done, obviously. There are more. Ronaldo, I'm going to show you a picture we've done earlier. And we believe that that kind of initiative, either us or other companies, are actually helping growing the crypto and the blockchain space. We are investing $20 million in something called the Socios Cup, which will be launched this summer. The idea is that you can vote on decision of which team and which player and which format are going to play this summer with some of the biggest teams in the world, and that's going to be very interesting. We have a $60 million investment in outside of sports, because we successfully, at least for now, launched fan token in the sports space. Now we are going in other verticals, and because we have the track record in what we do, of course, properties love it. NFTs versus fan tokens, that's more like kind of a joke. Actually, NFTs means non-fan token, and the idea is that fan tokens and NFTs are very much compatible. They are completely different products. They help each other, and it's not actually it's not NFTs or fan tokens. It's usually NFTs and fan tokens. And we work with most of the big companies in that space. I don't want to name them, but the two main ones, let's say, that are in that space in the sports, because we believe that NFTs does not compete, but complete what we do in fan token industry. After 3 years and a half ago, or rather, let's put it that way. 3 years and a half ago, people were laughing about the fact that fan tokens could be a thing. Well, 3 years and a half after, it is a thing. It's actually an asset class. It's a digital asset class where you have 50, 60, let's say, brands for now. There will be 100, 200, 300 in the next 2-3 years. And it became an asset class that aimed to grow and promote blockchain. What's interesting as well is we are launching in a few months fantokens.com and fantoken.com. That's gonna again help to promote that space. And last but not least, what we are doing right now out of the Chiliz chain, which is our own proof of authority chain, it's just an Ethereum fork. We don't bring any innovation. We are not smart enough for that. We just believe that clubs and IP of the clubs should be protected, and therefore we created a chain where all of these teams become nodes and validators. Yes, you can imagine having Barcelona, Manchester City, Arsenal, PSG, Juventus becoming validators and nodes or delegators, whatever you want to call it, into that chain in order to protect their interest and to make sure that only licensed entities can issue whether tokens, NFTs, etc. We even gonna start to reward clubs and sports property actually to be part of that, meaning that sports property are going to be rewarded for all the transactions that are made by all the fans from all the different clubs as well. And just to show you something cool we've done in the last few months. Where is it? Yeah, here on the top right, you have Ronaldo carrying a fan token of Juventus. And that was a small thing, but it's again to show what we've done in order to promote fan tokens. So he got an award, a reward for whatever anniversary he had, and it was rewarded with a fan token of Juventus. You have Inter Milan, which we took the front jersey, not to promote socios.com, not to promote Chiliz, not to promote an exchange or whatever, but to promote the Inter fan token. And the idea was that our statement is the best way to promote this industry is actually to promote the product. And that's what we are pushing. A lot of players, not players, but a lot of places all over the world, you have the players exchanging token during the matches. You have the, even we have Valencia in Spain, where you have as well the front jersey with the VCF fan token. Here, this one is one of my most important one in the middle. It's in Barcelona. It's in the Camp Nou Stadium. And only fan token holders of Barcelona were able to play against each other in the stadium. So the idea is we gave the ultimate VIP experience that you can expect for a fan playing in Camp Nou in the Barcelona stadium. And these kind of things, that's where we are investing. And we will keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And that's the mission of Chiliz. And I hope, guys, that after tonight, you will be Chiliz fans as much as you were before. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. Next, our panel. We're going to have a panel discussing crypto, DeFi, NFT still. Please welcome on stage Mehdi Amari, Aniket, and Abdul. And David Prince on the Binance side as well.
Hi everyone. First, I want to thank everyone that stayed when there was the lunch that was just served, so it shows really the ones that are the most dedicated. Hello Abdul, hello Mehdi, hello Aniket. Very nice to meet you today. Can you first introduce a little bit your company, what you do, your activity?
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Mehdi. I'm CEO of Jamie Data and Jitter.io. So I'm a blockchain developer since 2015. I did work for blockchain POC for a big company in France. I did ICO work for startup company in the world and work on multiple blockchain projects, and now I'm working on a crypto data analytics dashboard because I think data and blockchain data is one of the most experimental stuff. We didn't dig on it, and we have a lot of space to it's a space which will be growing because it's the first time in financial history that we have raw data, raw financial data is available, but we don't have enough tools to dig on it and to analyze everything we could have on it. So that's why I'm working on that now.
Thank you, Mehdi. Abdul?
Thank you. Thank you for all the people that decided to stay and listen to us. Yay! So, my name's Abdul. I'm from the UK. I built things like the congestion charging platform, which hasn't done anybody any favors. The BBC TV licensing platform, and a whole host of payment systems. So I come from a large-scale payments background, and I was a naughty hacker when I was 13 years old. So my project here it's an exchange. We're building an exchange here in the Middle East, and we're building an exchange here in Pakistan. And the reason why is because these territories really are virgin territories for most exchanges. Pakistan has a 220 million population, and it's a phenomenal landscape for crypto being a crypto adoption. But anyway, I'll leave the questions for later.
Good evening, everyone. This is Aniket here, co-founder of Biconomy. Yeah. Just quick intro. It's been five plus years for me in the space. Quite funny. I actually started my journey from Binance. Like when Binance was just getting started back in 2017, I was an intern in Shanghai. So it's good to be back here. What Biconomy is all about, we're just building a multi-chain relay infrastructure that does simplifying the end user transaction experience in the space. We started like 2 years ago, and one of the common feedback we were getting from everyone was that transactions are super complicated. And if you have to make crypto mainstream, you have to simplify the transactions. And that's something Biconomy is all focused about. We adopted the developers route, where we're building plug-and-play SDKs that can be integrated within 2 lines of code. And we envision to make crypto application experience similar to a normal Web2 application experience. So that's something we're all about.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. My first question is to you, Mehdi. So basically, from what I understand, you're building like a trading view on top of BSC. And I know that previously you were actually building on top of Ethereum. So why did you choose to develop on top of BSC? And maybe can you tell us more about what your platform will look like actually?
Okay, so back in the day, I developed all, my first startup was Jitter.io, so we developed everything on Ethereum smart contract. So, but in late 2019, when gas started to blow up, it became very, very hard to use our platform. So I decided to switch on another layer 1 alternative. And as Binance Smart Chain was the most used, and yeah, we take the step to switch to Binance Smart Chain, and it was a big relief for us because we got from to act on our smart contract. It could be expensive, as much as $250, and by switching to Binance Smart Chain, we go to almost around $1 to act on our smart contract, and as our application was targeting low revenue people and unbanked people in a region like Southeast Asia, so it was impossible for them to use it in Ethereum. So yeah, the change was pretty easy because everything on the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem was very smooth to use. So yeah, now it's running on it, and it's a very smooth experience to use it. And for my new company, as I want to provide a crypto analytics dashboard, it was, of course, an easy choice to integrate BSC as a chain. I will provide tools for it because today we have like 7.5 million transactions a day on Binance Smart Chain and only 1.2 on it. We have around 1 billion transactions on BSC DEX. We have 40 billion on DeFi on BSC. It's almost, it's more than any other layer one value combined. So, of course, it's an easy way to get user because almost all the user using DeFi already use DeFi on BSC.
All right, thank you very much, Mehdi.
Alors, my question is more for Aniket. Aniket, you developed a platform that helps the services that don't go into blockchain to have all the tools of the blockchain in-house. Moreover, not paying gas fee for the user, have a tool that is more handy for the user, not having like the private key, etc. What is the services, out of all the services of the Web 2.0, what is the services that you think need to go on blockchain first and will benefit the most of the blockchain services that you're going to provide? Abdelhamid, if you want to give the mic.
That's a really good question. You know, when we were getting started back in 18, common feedback we were getting from all the developers were, how do you get users into the space? You know, like this is way before DeFi NFT was a thing, and getting like hundreds of users like used to be a big milestone. I was like, okay, like if you have to go mainstream, like this experience needs to change, right? Next set of users won't be the ones who will be managing MetaMask, will be like caring about private keys, will be caring about gas, all this kind of stuff. So we were like, okay, we studied Web2 models rigorously. We studied how Stripe scaled, Heroku scaled. And imagine, let's say you're listening to Spotify, and for every song you have to pay certain thing. Spotify wouldn't have been like $1 billion company right now, like wouldn't be having millions of users. So this is something, you know, we thought of that we have to simplify for the end users. And the key product that is out there in the market that currently like 70+ applications are using it is gasless transactions. That is something, you know, developers don't have to pay, end users don't have to pay any fees of using an application, and it's totally subsidized by, you know, developers. This is already active live on Matic, BSC, Avalanche, and 5 different chains. And a lot of applications from NFT and DeFi are already integrating it. And we have already led to 20%, 30% increase in users just after integrations of Biconomy. So this is super exciting. We also launched a new product, you know, that is again going to help, you know, crypto becoming more mainstream, like as we are getting into a multi-chain ecosystem. So we launched this cross-chain bridge that instantly allows movement of assets from Ethereum to BSC instantly, like, and it is currently the cheapest and the fastest solution in the market. So there's a lot coming in the market, and most of our clients are NFT and DeFi applications. They're using us extensively.
Thank you.
One question for you, Abdul. So you were talking about Pakistan. Why Pakistan?
I think what we've seen with technology in the West is we've seen a growth, we've seen a transition, we've seen technology take effect, you know, going from, you know, landlines to mobile, from dial-up to broadband. Now, Pakistan skips entire generations of technology. And that allows you to understand that actually there's 100 million people unbanked. The growth of the population is steadily growing. There's a 220 million population. 70% is under 35. So they're very, very tech savvy. It means that those people want access to services just like the West has. And they're being underserved. So what we're doing is building an ecosystem that allows them and the unbanked to be able to bridge that gap. So whether they're looking at basic banking services, wallet-based services, buying crypto, buying stocks, people need to have access to financial products regardless of where they are, regardless of what level of wealth they have. They shouldn't have to have a certain level of wealth to access that wealth. And what that does is it keeps the unbanked unbanked. So the accessibility and the inclusion is what we're focusing towards, is how do we enable people using just smartphones to be a part of a wider ecosystem, and therefore allowing people to prosper, allowing people to access services that they would never get access to. And this, you know, this exists not just in Pakistan, but there's various countries, whether it's Bangladesh or whether it's parts of the Middle East, that exists. So what we're building is an infrastructure that allows that to transcend beyond those people and hopefully allow the next billion to be banked. So what we're building actually is a few different products. One of them is being a crypto exchange, which again is starting up, and we're hoping to have a ramp both in Pakistan and in the MENA region. So in Dubai, allowing people to actually pay in AED and then hold that AED within a custodial bank and then transact and buy whether it's stable coins or whether it's Bitcoins from that. And the same in Pakistan. You put Pakistani rupees into our account, we custody that and do the same thing. So allowing them to actually be a part of the ecosystem and buy and sell. So obviously we're only 9 months into this, so we're actually doing our Series A round right now. So hopefully we're going to be pushing that and doing a roadshow.
Pakistan Zindabad.
Yeah, Pakistan Zindabad.
Mehdi, can we pass the micro to Mehdi? Yes. Mehdi, I heard about your service, and all the people that describe to me say that it's the trading view of BSC. What is the killer app that you have inside your product that really makes a difference?
So it will be, because it's still in construction, but it will be released in 1 or 2 months. I want to provide the first live DEX analytics view in live. You will be able to see every transaction happening on DEX live, and you will be able to filter by token you want to follow, volume you want to follow, maybe DEX you want to follow, to have a clear view on what's happening live. Because now we have the possibility to see what's happening last hour, last 3 hours, but for day trader, they want to act live based on what's happening on the market now. So that will be the killer feature. You don't see now. On TradingView, you can see the chart. You can see the chart on some, but you cannot see the volume of each transaction. So for me, it will be at this granularity. You will be able to see each transaction, which the volume of the transaction at filter on which DEX, who trade, because thanks to all the blockchain data running on blocks, you can know who trade what. So with my tools, you will be able to follow smart money, follow address, do good transaction, and you will be able, if you start seeing them selling your token you like, maybe it will be time to sell yourself. Yeah, or to buy. It depends who is behind.
Thank you very much, Mehdi. One question for you, Aniket. So we were talking about how BSC dApps can use Bioeconomy, right? Can you tell us more about your roadmap? Because I know it's really interesting. Can you maybe speak more about it?
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, firstly talking about the dApps, like how they can use us. I'm sure like people here using BSC dApps, must have experienced the gas fees, like that transaction where you don't have sufficient BSC or BNB token just to pay for the gas fees. That is really irritating, right? Sometimes you do the transaction on MetaMask and you go in, it's still pending on MetaMask. So all these kind of problems, we can solve it for all the developers out here. So if any developer, wants to have more users onto the applications and make it more mainstream, like we can remove the end user, gas problem totally. And also we make sure that transactions are always going through the blockchain. Like there's no stuck transactions at all if using Bioeconomy. So this is a really strong value add where we remove extra friction points of clicking confirmations every time you do a transaction. And end users don't have to procure BNB tokens, going to exchange, do KYC. So this is where developers can use us. And yeah, I mean, definitely it's a very aggressive roadmap we have, in the next coming months. So we kind of took the road less taken. We've been out in the market for last 2 years. And from last 2 years, we've been building the product, getting the integrations done. And everything happening in more of a centralized kind of a way. So next 6 months, we are decentralizing our relayers. And we'll be also launching our own token. So plus, there's a new product called Hyphen that is very exciting. And that's something we're expanding to BSC. So these 3 things are most active on a checklist in the next coming months.
And you've launched your ICO recently, that concluded in 2 days, right?
Sorry?
You've launched your ICO recently, right?
Yeah, it was just 2 days ago and everything got sold out in 27 minutes, yeah.
Bravo. One question, Abdul, because basically you've made an exchange, but you had some experience about NFT. I saw that you were releasing a collection of NFT about cricket. So Alex was doing football, you are invading the cricket space. What is the best side of NFTs that you've discovered and you want to use inside your protocol? How does it enable, what does it enable, and what do you think about NFT in general terms?
Okay, yes, we actually launched the NFTs for Wasim Akram, the cricketer. Now, Wasim Akram, if you're Pakistani, you'd know Wasim Akram's a legend in Pakistan. So the first idea was, okay, can we get the Pakistani community engaging and interacting? Because it's a very, very new concept. And you know, when there's pirating going on and someone can send images and videos and MP3s, the world of NFTs makes no sense to people. So it's about getting people educated in a way to understand is how do you transition people's understanding from, you know, an image being something that can be pirated to be something of value. And that really is the way in which it's minted, who it's minted by, and the process and the movement of that NFT itself. Now, I think we're at such an early stage of the NFT ecosystem. We're pushing just images and videos. You know, it's going to get so much more interesting, so much more valuable. I've seen projects, and we're looking to do also the same thing, is attach physical goods with those NFTs. So there's tremendous value in terms of that ownership and that the way that ownership moves between people. But even the technology that allows us to then display the NFT in a home, on a picture frame. So I think the ecosystem will keep on expanding all the way to the physical assets, whether it's property or cars or everything else in between. So what we're trying to do is, with our ecosystem and our platform that we're eventually building, is try and gamify some of that. Because I think the value that I think in the previous conversation had was what does Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and what do they do well? And what they do well is basically they allow the mass user to be able to gain value. A simple like and a simple comment and a simple share, it stimulates people and it wants them to get to share more. So there isn't such an ecosystem that exists. Everyone's building in a decentralized platform, very, very siloed applications. But what we need to do is be able to look at those examples and be able to figure out, okay, what are people looking for? And the gamification of NFTs and the ability to reward people for games, I think will be the next biggest part of the NFT ecosystem.
Thank you very much. Before we close our panel, gentlemen, would you like to say some last words, or?
Yes. So yeah, thank you for people who stay among us. So my platform, Jamie Data, will be released in 2 months, so you can subscribe on it. And thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, massive appreciation to all the people that stayed. Do visit bitblaze.co, register, and hopefully we'll give you some free tokens, and you can be a part of the ecosystem. Thank you.
Exactly. Thanks a lot for saying, guys. Lastly, you know, if you guys facing crowd troubles moving funds to Binance Smart Chain or moving multi-chain, just use Hyphen. You know, it's the fastest bridge out there in the market, and we do have airdrop ongoing over there. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Next, have you ever heard of Prometheus Labs? Is this how we say it? Woo! Amazing project. Please welcome Won So.
I'll just sit. Thank you. Hey, everyone. My name is Juan, and I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of Prometheus Labs. I thought this was a final stage, so I'm trying to keep it short so that we can all go and socialize and have some drinks soon. But I think the good positive here is we're all sitting kind of in a socially distant way now, so go help. So we're Prometheus, and it's always great to be part of these Binance meetups and be a events. We've always been a great supporter of the Binance ecosystem. We actually have quite an interesting history with Binance. our company has been one of the first products to actually build a product on the Binance Smart Chain. I think it dates back all the way to May 2020, just last year, when Binance Smart Chain was actually just developing. We developed and launched this new product called Ignite, which is a decentralized social network. And I think we were one of the pioneers on the space. Done pretty well. But since then on, we've really grown to different directions as more of a holding company, where we now hold and operate a lot of these different products you see out there, like SOA, Halter, Legal Shield, Cold Stack, Promenade, etc. But I think even as we expand and grow, we always try to hold true to our values that we really started, which really are these three things. Number one is social interactions. We think we're quite social people, so we also can't wait to go and interact with all of you guys soon. But also second, we really, really hold privacy dear to our heart, because that's really why we joined blockchain in the first place. And lastly, we're really focusing on decentralized data exchange, because again, that's all part of the privacy and the ecosystem. I think today we're really, really excited to announce a fourth dimension that we're actually adding to our value, which really all branches off out of these three different dimensions, which is a way to monetize your social presence using blockchain. And I think you've heard a lot about fan tokens and social tokens, especially through Chiliz just before this. But if Chiliz is focused on the sports world and sports teams, you can think of us focusing on the non-sports world and on individuals. So I'm going to be really quick here and jump on some slides, because I also want to go drink soon. But just to give you a quick overview of what Prometheus actually is, and we're planning on launching this in just a few months, which we're really excited about. Oops. Where is it? Yeah. So we are, I think simplicity is probably the most important keyword here. We try to make a platform that's as simple to use as possible for even non-crypto users to use. So we're essentially a simple link that celebrities can actually post on their social media profiles, on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, where fans can simply go on this link, just like link in bio or Linktree, to essentially buy into their celeb tokens. So I think we really provide two values to the users, which is number one, we give fans to actually buy into the celebrity's social presence. So if a celebrity becomes more popular, then the coin value will rise, and you can also earn money on the way while supporting your favorite celebrities. And second, and very importantly, you'll be able to actually use these social tokens to really engage with these celebrities. An example of that would be you can buy tickets to a group video call with a celebrity. You can also get access to their exclusive NFT drops if you own these social tokens. So I think just like Chiliz on sports, we're also trying to build this huge fan economy with a social token. And that's really what Prometheus has always stood for, trying to become a decentralized social token in many different ways. There's many, I wanted to go over this on how easy it is to actually use the platform. But really the main takeaway you can get is you can really buy. Anyone who's not even crypto savvy can use our platform and buy a celeb coin and be an investor in just 3 clicks. You can log in through Google and Apple, and a wallet is immediately and automatically created, and you can use whatever tokens you want, and even credit cards later on, to buy into these tokens, and we have a tracking mechanism that you can also track the coins on. And for celebrities, we've made the experience even simpler. So you access our app, log in through Google or Apple. A wallet is immediately attached, and we have an automatic celebrity verifying mechanism on our back end, which I think is quite beautiful. We just have 2 simple criteria. Number one, you just have to be a verified celebrity on any of these social media platforms, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And second, you just need a minimum number of threshold of followers, which is 10,000 followers. So once you meet those 2 criteria, you're immediately automatically verified, and you get the authority to actually mint a social token on our platform. And then the experience is super simple. You advertise your coin through social media, which made it super easy. And then you track your coin performance. And then lastly, you can also track your coin ranking against other celebrities as well. Now you might all be thinking, how are we actually different from other incumbents on the field? But let me just quickly move through this. But essentially, we've put a lot of thought into our token economics curve. We've hired and worked with many economics professors to actually make the most stable curve as possible while we're supporting the growth. So I think our main differentiator are actually two things. It's probably that if you buy into our celeb coins, you can actually expect a very, very stable return on growth. And secondly, we're Prometheus, and we're listed on most exchanges in the world, including Binance. Huge shout out to Binance. So it's very easy to actually buy in and cash out whenever you want. So there's a detailed slide that actually go over our competitors, but I'm just going to quickly skip over that. And just remember this date. We are planning on launching very, very soon.